Hi everyone, in today's episode of Unusual Whales changelog, we're going to take a look at features that have just landed on the Unusual Whales website or stuff that has been changed and implemented for you so you can keep up with any updates that are happening on the Unusual Whales platform. First off, something that has been released today is on the ChainOI changes page, which updates at around 6:30 to 6:45 Eastern time in the morning. There are two new filters. They're called consecutive increases. One of them is the days of OI increases, and the other one is the days of volume greater OI. But what does that mean exactly? Let's take a look. We can set the value for now to get a better understanding of it to 5 days of OI increases. And the value is available in the table as well. There are like two columns, days of OI increase and days of volume greater OI. The days of OI increases is basically the number of consecutive days that the open interest has increased for this contract. If on any day the open interest decreases or does not change at all, the counter will reset. So for that, let's take this SPY contract with a strike of 385. It has 8 days of OI increases, and we can open the contract pop-up and take a better look. And here we can see that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row, the OI increased. And 9 days back, the OI didn't increase. So that's basically the breakpoint, the cutoff. So these, for 9 days in a row, the OI has been steadily increasing for that contract. And this is kind of helpful for you if you are trying to find contracts in which maybe a trader has been building up a position over multiple days. Now, if the open interest increases consecutively over multiple days, that doesn't necessarily mean that this is just one trader maybe building up a position or multiple traders. It's just natural that it happens that the open interest increases for contracts the closer the expiration gets, and if they are in a reasonable range of the stock in comparison to the stock's implied volatility. So short dated contracts are more likely to be traded than longer dated contracts. But this is still a nice filter that you can use maybe like for try to spot someone being sneaky and building a position in some stock ahead of earnings or maybe a news event or some other special event. And the second filter there is the consecutive days of volume greater OI. So you can use these two filters together to filter for contracts where for 5 days in a row the volume has always been greater with greater than OI, the open interest, and in addition to that, the OI has been increasing every day. So let's take a look what we can find here. And it looks like there's no contract where the OI has been increasing for 5 days and the volume has been greater than the open interest for 5 days. So let's reset that and set it maybe like to 2. And we're getting a bunch of contracts back. Obviously, we would have to do a little bit more filtering to get down to some interesting contracts. So as an example of something that one could be looking at, we can maybe limit the multi-leg percentage to 10% maximum. We're also maybe only interested in contracts that's expiring the next 90 days. Let's exclude the ETFs and the indices. And maybe let's take a look at companies where the market cap is less than 50 billion. And that gives us now a nicer list of stuff we can look at. And maybe let's only take a look at out of the money contracts. So we can just say 0.1 for 10%. And now we have a small list of contract that we could go take a deeper look at and see if anything is interesting. Obviously, this is not every contract is interesting, but it gives us a slimmed down list we can take a look at and do some analysis on whether this contract might have had some interesting trades. We can now look up the contract and the flow and do a deeper analysis on it. That's the one feature. The second feature is we have revamped the search bar on our website. And say, for instance, we have pulled up now a list of option contracts and we are now interested in Coinbase. We see now here a coin contract. Let's filter for coin. We have 2 examples. And let's say we want to take a deeper look at coin. We can just put coin in our search bar and it will show us all the information that we want to see. We can see it, coin is up 25% year to date. We can see it's expected to report earnings at the end of the month, and the market is currently pricing in a move of 12.5%. Obviously, it's going to change the closer we get to the earnings. We can see insiders have been selling so far this year around 3 million shares. 66% of the time in October, Coinbase has closed positively. And we could jump now to all of these pages. We can see it has an IV rank of 63. But if we want to take a look at what's currently being traded for coin, we can just quickly check for the contracts. So we can do like coin OTM for out of the money. So we only see all of the out of the money contracts for coin. And we can actually see that one of those contracts has been shared in our Discord by Snolex. On October 1st at 8:47 a.m., this contract has been shared, so 13 days ago, on our Discord already. That means there must have been some interesting flow. Someone has shared it. You can see it in our search. If you wanted to filter these contracts even further, only using the search, for instance, we only want to see the contracts with at least 70% skew, you can just type in 0.7 and then skew. And now we see all of the contracts that are either being skewed to the bid side or ask side by 70%. And that's only from the search at a quick glance. Now we can take a look at any contract and let's say, for instance, we want to see this contract. We just click it, we get to our contract page, and now we can take a look at our graphs, how this volume has been built up. We can see the historical OI and more information about the contract itself. And this is all just from the search. If we are busy, we just put up the website and we want to see which contracts have been lately mentioned in our Discord by the traders. We can just type flow discussion and we're going to see a chronological order of the contracts that have been shared. So the last shared contract in our Discord was WMT, and before that a GME, and so on. And you can just go through this list, and if you see anything interesting, you can just click on one contract and you get immediately to this beautiful contract view. And lastly, we have made some updates to our API. We have started to add some institutional endpoints. So on our API, you can now get institutional data of their holdings and activity, as well as their sector exposure. And with this data, you can pretty much build or rebuild the same institutional page that we have, which you can see here on market data institutions. And you could just mimic the same page that we have been built with the data we are providing on our API level. We could now say we only want to see institutions that are investing in the biotech sector, and there you go. We could say we want to filter for all institutions and see the top institutions that are holding Apple shares. Or if we want to take a look at Buffett, we can type Buffett and get to Berkshire Hathaway. And we can take a look at how Berkshire has been performing against SPY, how much it has been buying and selling in each quarter since 2014, the sector exposure in each year, and a nice table about the stock holdings and their change in each quarter. And this can all be accessed with the Unusual Whales API. If you have more questions about the API, you can always reach us via support email or in our Discord if you have some questions. There's a trial if you don't want to buy a subscription to the API immediately. And otherwise, if you have more suggestions, feel free to email us at Unusual Whales, and I hope to hear from you in the near future.